Hey Dominique, hey Sarah, if you're watching this, I'm sure you are. So, I just want to say hi. First of all, I am in the car. Second of all, I am stopped. I'm not driving. I am at a Starbucks parking lot I just dropped off my rental. And so I just stopped at a little Starbucks, and this is what's happening. I practice my story, and I really like my story. It's simple, but this is my like earn the right? So what I did is I did this activity for my own personal business based off of the time range that we had pulled for the activity that we did last week, and just me myself personally, I added on $200 in just treatments and extra value to my guest experience for one day. So imagine like a salon professional wanting to know what's in it for me. If I can add on $200 in a day, imagine what you could add on in a week. And this particular week, my behind the chair sales were $789. So adding on that extra $200 in service sales, that would have put me, if I was a regular designer, in the next commission bracket. So I think that's pretty impactful, because I'm gonna break down the rest of it and everything in just a minute. But I think for a stylist, they're really in it for like they're the quick, fast, and easy, like 30 seconds. What's in it for me? How can you grow my business? And like, how can I make more money? Right? That's what designers want. So I think my story, just my quick little personal story of, I did $789, and then after doing this activity myself, I added on $200 worth of value, like additional value to my services, which would have put me at, like I said, as a regular designer, in that 46% commission. So I think it's with guests I already had. I didn't have to, get more cheeks in the seats. I didn't have to go out there and convert and flirt and all of that kind of fun stuff. It was with guests that I already had. So that's pretty exciting. So I'm going to run you through what I did and the math that I did. So what I did was I took how many blowouts I had, just like we did in the activity last week, and it was during the Galentine's Day event. Good grief. And so and so I did 4 blowouts that day, and I found I would have added on the heat cure to all 4 of those. That would have added on an extra $100 in sales. So that, in itself is astronomical. And then what I did was I had a partial highlight and an accent highlight, and I looked at this 2 different ways, right? So if I would have added on, the flash lifted bonder inside, I could have added on $25 to each one of those tickets. But just thinking about, like, maybe from a reconsultation perspective, like if I would have reconsulted at least that partial highlight, I could have added on, and I could have suggested her a full highlight. I can't remember who these guests were, but I could have, added more value from giving her more bang for her buck with a full highlight versus just a partial highlight. But once again, I don't remember who that was. So what I did was, I imagine that if I added on that flash lift bonder inside, and then added on an additional $50 onto that, and so that we're at $150 so far. And then I had an all-over color service. I didn't have any root retouches. I just did an all-over color, so that added on an extra $20 onto my books. And then if I would have added a chem shot to that, or $25 if I did a heat cure and just stayed consistent with the heat cures. And then I did 3 haircuts that day as well. So I could have added on an additional $30 by changing those to signature haircuts instead of just regular haircuts. So overall, I could have, with all of those treatments, not doing anything different, I could have added on an extra $200 worth of value to my guests. And if I broke this down to a salon professional, like in let's just say a store visit, and I could do some continued education. We could do a little bit of heat cure on a mannequin so they can see the before and after. Or, I was in a store visit today, and I really think that people aren't as bought in, or they don't understand how valuable, the flash lifted bonder inside is. They're so stuck on pH bonder whenever there's something that's very comparable to pH bonder. That was the additive that we put in to the pH bonder with the flash lifted bonder inside. So like, I just think we're lacking from like an educational perspective, which is what I did with that store today, and they were very enlightened. So, you know, I just think with consistency in the application and consistency in the conversation, we could really start seeing, you know, really rallying behind that flash lifted bonder inside. Because I know as a company, or as an industry, like the whole industry really rallied behind those bonding systems. So I know that's not a whole lot. That's how I would break it down to a salon professional. And yeah, so kind of situational, like, you know, depending on where the salon professional was going, you know, if they were giving me any pushback, that would depend on how the conversation would go. So it's, like I said, it's pretty subject to change on how the conversation would go, but that's how I would start out the conversation, is like, hey, like, I see you're consistently at that $700. Like, if I could show you a way to get you to that next commission bracket without having to work harder and going out on the sales floor, and get you to that next commission bracket with people you already had in your chair, would you be interested in that? And that's how I would kind of, you know, start that conversation. So, and then share them my personal story, and then run them through the math and see if it was as enlightening to them as it was to me. So, like I said, once again, that's it in a nutshell. I mean, I think it was pretty enlightening, even for my own personal business. So that is all that I have. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day, it's Wednesday. I was going to say a wonderful weekend. It's Wednesday. So, an amazing rest of the week, and I will talk to you guys in the morning. So, bye.